My granddaughter called me last week, and out of breath and worry, asked, "Grandpa, are you depressed? You haven't left the house in days." I laughed into the phone because I could hear the espresso machine in the background. Mine, not hers. Its hiss and little chime the way a clock ticks for me now. I told her, "No, sweetheart, I'm fine. I'm arriving." People hear that and tilt their heads. Arriving? Isn't staying put the same as giving up? That's the misunderstanding I want to clear up right now. For a good many of us, staying home is not a retreat. It's a settlement, a coming to rest. After decades of movement, noise, appointments, and improvisation, choosing stillness can be a decision earned, like sitting into a favorite chair that remembers the shape of you. It is intentional, not accidental. Let me explain why many older people stop going out. Not because we hate people or because the world has become dangerous, although both of those can matter, but for reasons that are quiet and very human. Energy wiring, a need for control and predictability, the comfort of rituals, the weight of loss. And yes, sometimes staying in is hiding. We'll talk about that too. But first, the wiring. Some of us are wired to the world like a radio set to full volume. We get energy from the buzz of voices, from conversation ricocheting off walls, from the jostle of being among others. My Gloria, oh Gloria, she could walk into a room and make it brighter. Her laugh started like a song and drew people like moths to light. After a party with her, I would be smiling, yes, but also quietly exhausted. Gloria would be twirling in the kitchen. I would find the chair by the window and sit until my shoulders relaxed. Other people, like me, recharge in quiet. I call it stillness fuel. 1 hour among strangers, one loud event, will leave me needing an hour alone to refill. It's not sadness, it's physics. Extrovert, introvert. Those are clumsy labels sometimes, but they point to energy economics. You spend a certain amount, and you need to replenish. As you age, the cost sometimes gets higher. Joints creak, stamina thins, attention frays, and the recovery time stretches. A night that once left you ready for sunrise might now require a day or two of sitting with the light on the counter and a small cup of espresso. This temperament difference explains a lot. If you've ever had to sit by yourself in the hallway after a wedding or a loud family dinner just to feel like yourself again, you know what I mean. For many older people, the calculations are simple. The outside world demands energy we choose to reserve for the things that matter most. There is dignity in that choice. The second reason is control. Call it predictability as medicine. The world outside is full of variables. Cancelled buses, crowded places, loud music, sudden rain. When you've lived through enough storms and surprises, predictability becomes balm. At home you can make the light warm in the afternoon. You can time your nap so you wake before the evening hunger. You can decide who comes in and who doesn't. You decide the temperature. You know where the spare sugar is. That may sound small, but predictability regulates the nervous system in a way that doctors don't always explain in white coats. It reduces surprise, and surprise uses up a lot of energy. Let me tell you about Harriet Walsh. Harriet was my customer for 30 years. She had a little shop where she polished shoes. Every Thursday at 11, she sat in the same chair, her scarf tied the same way, and she hummed the same tune while she worked. She would set a teacup on the corner of the counter, not too near the edge. Her fingers knew the rhythm of her cloth. When she closed the shop, she would lock the door with a small brass key and hoist her bag onto the same shoulder. Harriet's life had boundaries carved into it, small and sacred, and those boundaries were her map. That ritual told her day after day, I am safe. Predictability like that does what medication might try to do. It steadies you. Rituals are the third thread. People mistake ritual for routine, as if one is bland and the other is sacred. A routine is a machine. A ritual is a tiny ceremony that reminds you you are alive. My morning ritual is simple and small. I make espresso, grind the beans the way I've always ground them, pour into the demi-tasse and wait 5 counts before the first sip, because 5 counts let the aroma settle. The light hits the counter just so in the mornings, and I watched the dust move like slow snow. Gloria used to hum while washing the breakfast plates. After she died, humming felt like a betrayal, and then a blessing. Rituals stitch ordinary moments into a life that feels worth living. When you have done a thing for decades, it accrues meaning. A Thursday shoe polish becomes not just footwear maintenance, but a sign that the world keeps turning. For many older folks, rituals replace the excitement of new experiences with the deep comfort of repetition. They are not less lively for being small. But here's the crucial complication. Not every instance of staying in is a gentle arrival. Sometimes staying home is a subtle evaporation of life. After Anna Maria died, Anna Maria was my first wife, and she died too young. The house kept its shape to my hands, but not to my heart. I moved through rooms like a ghost would through glass. Food became a list of tasks, not a pleasure. I would open the door and close it, without telling anyone I had passed the threshold. That is hiding. It is not rest. It is numbness trying on the language of peace. So how do you tell the difference? How can you know if staying home is peace or a shrinking away? Ask yourself some honest questions. When you come in from outside, do you feel restored, rounded, as if you've returned to a true self? Or do you feel empty, like a pocket with unseen holes? Do you look forward to the small things at home, the espresso, the creak of the chair? Or do those small things pass by without notice? When someone close suggests a visit, do you choose to stay because the visit drains you, or because it doesn't fit your map of what matters? Do you find yourself making plans you never follow through on, or are your days full of chosen attentions? If your answers tilt toward fullness, you are likely arriving. If they tilt toward emptiness and avoidance, you might be hiding. And if you are not sure, that's okay too. Uncertainty is not a sin, it's an invitation to look closer. Grief complicates everything. It can be a doorway to a quieter life that is dignified and necessary. Or it can be a dark room where one sleeps too long. After Anna Maria, I learned that grief does not obey a schedule. It is not polite. It will return like a tide to a rock that thought it had been dry. There were mornings I woke, and the top of the counter looked lopsided because her kettle sat in a different place. Sometimes, I pretended not to notice. That was the dangerous part. Pretending. It became a habit. I had to be nudged back by Lucia, my daughter, who would call on Wednesdays and say, "Pop, let's go sit by the river." And I would find, once there, that air itself pulled something loose inside me. This is why a tether matters. A tether is small and simple. A weekly call, a neighbor who comes on Fridays, a granddaughter who texts a photo of a dog doing something ridiculous. The point is not to fix you, it is to keep you connected. My Lucia once said to me, "I know how much you like your chair, but I'm not letting your world shrink to one chair." She said it kindly and with force. Those tethered threads are not invasions. They are lifelines. Here are practical ways to love staying home without slipping into hiding. These are not prescriptions, only ideas that have worked for me and people I know. First, build rituals that mean something. Make a small ceremony of the ordinary. It can be as modest as a 5-breath pause before the first sip of coffee, a 10-minute walk with the same scarf, a playlist that only plays on Sunday evenings. Rituals give shape and grace to the day. They are markers that say, "This moment belongs to me." Second, notice the small things. Sensory attention is a practice. Watch the light on the counter at dawn. Listen for the chair when you sit. That creak will tell you more than you expect. Smell the toast. Name the colors of your day. The more you anchor to the senses, the less life becomes a blur. This noticing is not sentimental. It's a skill for living that keeps you awake to pleasure. Third, protect your solitude and guard against isolation. Build the fence you need around your energy, but leave a gate. Schedule your tether. Tell a friend that Tuesdays are your day for a call and Wednesdays are for mail from the children. Let your daughter know that a visit once a week works for you, not because she orders it, but because you want it. My Marco, my grandson, at first couldn't understand why I wasn't always available. He thought staying in meant being lonely. But then he began to send short videos of his model trains, and those 5-second gifts became a ritual we both keep. They remind me I'm not alone in my head. Fourth, stop apologizing. Do not say sorry for wanting a quiet life. We learn, too often, to apologize for who we are. That apron string of apology is unnecessary. Say, I prefer the afternoon light to parties, not, I'm sorry I can't come. Own your preference the way you own your name. There's dignity in that ownership. I want to give you a small list of warning signs, gentle but honest. If you find yourself skipping calls and not enjoying it, if your rituals feel hollow, like a script you read without remembering your lines, if you are angry at invitations without reason, if your body is declining because you don't move enough, if you find yourself forgetting the names of people who used to matter, then consider reaching out. Talk to someone you trust. Let them notice with you. None of that is shameful. It is being human. Let me return to a simpler sensory picture. Picture my kitchen at 9 in the morning. The espresso drips. The light slants across the counter and paints a bright path. Dust dances in that path like slow snow. My chair, a good old thing, gives a satisfying creak when I sit. These are not trite details. They are the threads of a life I have chosen to care for. Gloria's humming sometimes joins me, in memory, and I hum back when I wash the cup. That's ritual too, memory turned into action. There is humor here too, because life at home is not solemn. Gloria used to hide my reading glasses and put them in a bowl of lemons. She said they looked better among citrus. I would fumble and find them and then pretend I was blind to keep her laughing. Humor preserves balance. It keeps the tone light. Younger people often interpret staying in as a failure of courage. They want to rescue us from our chairs, as if movement is the only measure of thriving. That comes from a good place. Protect that impulse, but also give them permission to accept our choices. Explain that sometimes staying in is a way of stewarding energy, of caring for a body and a mind that have carried a great deal. Allow them to see that arriving is not surrender. It is a new kind of sovereignty. There are hard days. I won't romanticize them. My knees complain. I forget the name of the actor in a movie I watched 3 times. There are mornings the espresso tastes flat, and nothing in the light makes me feel right. On those days I let someone in. I call Lucia. I answer the door. I make myself small plans and keep them. Often the day softens simply because I forced myself to do one small thing. At 106, what I can say with some certainty is this. Most of the reasons older people stop going out are tied to a desire for agency over their lives, a craving for predictability, and the tender attachment to rituals that make ordinary time meaningful. They are not necessarily signs of giving up. They can be a final workshop where a person arranges the furniture of their days to be as lovely and comfortable as possible. If any of this resonates with you, I have a small favor. Leave a one-line comment about your favorite at-home ritual. Tell me what you do, small or large, that makes staying put feel like coming home. I read those lines like little flares across the years. Before I close, one more story. After Gloria died, I solved my loneliness by starting a little exchange with the man who runs the bakery down the street. I began leaving a folded note on the counter every Tuesday with a silly joke. He started leaving me a warm roll when he could. Once a month a neighbor, Harriet's niece, drops by with a pot of tea. My life at home is stitched to the city in tiny seams. The mail carrier's whistle, Marco's train videos, Lucia's Wednesday phone calls. This is the craft of living. Make your seams strong. So, let me be clear one last time. Many older people stop going out because they are choosing to preserve energy, to create predictability, to lean into rituals that comfort them after long decades. Some stay in because of loss and need care. Sometimes staying in conceals pain that wants to be seen. The fine work is telling the difference and caring for what each person needs. This isn't giving up. This is arriving. If this gave you permission or a new thought, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want more small, honest stories like this, subscribe and keep a place at your table for them. Now, if you'll excuse me, my espresso is cooling and the light is perfect on the counter.